Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. In this video, we are going to learn how to create Wave invoice on Contact Form 7 submission. So here, as an online educator, I am using Contact Form 7 on my website to capture the leads and students who are interested in buying my courses. And to manage my finances, I am using Wave. So my objective is that every time an interested student is going to visit my website, they are going to submit the form with their details along with the course in which they want the enrollment. Automatically, an invoice should be generated and saved in my Wave account for that student and the course. To automate this entire process, we will have to set up the connection between Contact Form 7 and Wave, and that we are going to do without any coding and any programming skills, simply with the help of Pabbly Connect. So for your business, if you also want to learn this amazing automation step by step, for that you have to come towards my screen. Welcome to my screen everyone. In this video, I am going to show you step by step that how we can automatically create Wave invoice for Contact Form 7 submission. So here, as an online educator and course provider, I am selling my courses and I am collecting the inquiries for these courses through my website by using Contact Form 7. So I have attached a Contact Form 7, that is lead inquiry form, on my website, and I want that every time a lead or a student, we can say, is going to visit my website, they are going to enter their details in this form, such as their name, email address, phone number, and the type of course in which they want the registration. So automatically for that course, for that student, an invoice should be created in my Wave account so that I can manage my finances and move on with the sales process effectively and effortlessly. Now, to automate this entire process, I will have to build the connection between Contact Form 7 and Wave, and that I'm going to do without any coding and any programming skills with the help of Pabbly Connect. So Pabbly Connect is an amazing automation and integration software that helps us to automate all our daily repetitive tasks without the requirement of any coding and any programming skills. So let's get started quickly. Today, with the help of Pabbly Connect, we are going to set up the connection between Contact Form 7 and Wave. So here you can see that I am on my home page of Pabbly Connect, where we can reach by typing the URL pabbly.com/connect/INR in our browser. After coming over here, we will find two options: sign in and sign up for free. So in case if you are already an existing user, just click on sign in to log into your account. But if you are a new user, you have to click on this sign up for free button. It will help you to create a free new account just in 2 minutes. Also, when you will do that, you're going to receive 100 free tasks every month to explore this amazing software and to test multiple automations. Now, as an existing user, currently I'm going to click on sign in. This is all apps section where we can find all the products which are offered by Pabbly. To create this automation, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. So let's click on access now. It has taken us towards the dashboard of Pabbly Connect. On the dashboard, we can find all our workflows which we have created. And to save the workflows, we can also create separate folders like this. Now, to create a new workflow, let's click on this Create Workflow option. As we have done that, a dialog box is appeared in front of us, which is asking us to provide a name to this workflow. So first of all, let me provide a name over here. Create Wave invoice on Contact Form 7 submission. After giving the name to my workflow, now I'm going to select the folder. So you can see I have list of folders over here. Among these folders, the automation which I'm going to set up is related to payment management, so that I can manage the payments which I'm receiving through the course purchase. For that, I want to create the invoices in my Wave account for every form submission on Contact Form 7. So for that, I'm going to select automations for payment management and I'm going to click on this create button. As I have done that, my automation, that is my workflow, will get saved in the folder which I have selected, and in this way I will be able to organize the data, organize the workflows on my dashboard seamlessly. Now over here you can see we are on a new screen, and the screen contains a blank workflow. Basically, we have to fill up this blank workflow to complete our automation successfully. And here we have two windows that are extremely important. So we have trigger and action over here. So what are trigger and action? Trigger and actions are the two main concepts, the principles, or we can say these are the building blocks on which the entire automation works. Here the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. That means the action is the response towards our trigger. So whatever we are going to select in our trigger is going to command the entire workflow, and the actions are going to follow that same command. Therefore, we can have only one trigger in any workflow, but we can add as many action steps as we want. Now, let's suppose here my objective is that every time I'm going to receive a new form submission in Contact Form, automatically an invoice should be created in my Wave account for that. So for that, I'm going to take, let's say, Contact Form 7 in trigger and Wave in my action step. When we are going to set up the connection between these applications, then you will see that action is going to follow what the trigger commands. Because when the trigger happens, that means when the form will be submitted in Contact Form 7 by the customer or by the student who is interested in the course, then only an invoice will be created for that course for that student in Wave, otherwise not. So after understanding the whole concept of trigger and action, let us start creating our automation step by step. To start with the process, first of all, let's go towards our trigger step and let us select our trigger application over here. So by using which application you want to start your workflow, I want that when a form will be submitted in contact form 7, then my workflow should start. So contact form 7 will be our trigger application over here. Okay, then we have to select the trigger event. That means on the happening of which specific event in contact form 7 you want to start your workflow. So here we have to select new form submission, as we want that when a new form will be submitted in contact form 7, then our workflow should start. So as we have done that, you can see that here we have a webhook URL. Also we have some instructions. We have to follow the given instructions step by step carefully. And by following them, we have to insert the webhook URL inside of a specific form of contact form 7. So here I'm going to show you each and every step that what we have to do actually. So let's copy the webhook URL, as it is going to act as a bridge for transferring the data of every new form submission in contact form 7 towards Pabbly Connect. And after this, I'm going to take you towards WordPress. So as you know, contact form 7 is a plugin of WordPress. So here, first of all, you need to install and activate the contact form 7 plugin from the plugin section of WordPress dashboard. If you have already done that, then you have to just go towards contact section from the left side, and here you will find contact forms. But before that, if you have not installed the plugin, if you have not activated it, then you cannot access it. Okay, so on the WordPress side, from the left side, you will find the option of plugins. Here you will go towards add new plugin, and you will search and install this plugin, that is contact form 7, and you have to activate it as well. Now I've already done that, so I'm going to take you towards contact forms I have. Among these forms, lead inquiry form is the form which I want to connect with Pabbly Connect. So I will go towards edit option of this form. And here we'll see the option of webhook. So let's select that. And first of all, you have to now check this box, integrate, send to webhook. And here we have the option of webhook URL. In this field, you have to paste the webhook URL which you have copied from Pabbly Connect. I already have an existing webhook URL, so I'm going to delete it first of all in front of you. And I will just paste the new webhook URL which we have copied recently from Pabbly Connect. Okay, as we have done that, now we'll scroll down. This is the data which we are going to receive in the response when the form will be submitted. We are going to receive the first name of the lead, the last name, email, phone number, and the course. As you can see, I have these fields in my form. I'm going to click on save now to save this setup which we have made. And once again, we'll save the status as well. So let's click on save over here. After doing this, let's go back towards Pabbly Connect, as the webhook is successfully updated. This means our connection between contact form 7 and Pabbly Connect is built with a specific form. Okay. Now, here it is showing waiting for webhook response. This means we have to do a test submission now. How we are going to do that? By simply submitting the form which we have recently connected with Pabbly Connect. To submit the form, you can see I have already opened it. How you can open the form? For that, you can just copy this ID. This is the ID of the form. You will go towards the page section from the left side top. And you will go towards all pages. Here you will search the ID of that form by copy and pasting. By pasting over here, you will click on search pages. And as you will do that, the form which you have connected will be appeared over here. As I can see, this is the option. So you can just click on view and the form will be open in front of you. Okay. As the form is open in front of us, now I'm going to submit this form. So now quickly, let's start with the name. I'm going to use some dummy details just to submit the form so that the response could be captured. So let's say the name of the lead who is submitting the form is Amazing Student. Let's say this is the name of the student who want to purchase a course. Let's say the email is amazing690@pabblytudes.com. Let's say this is the phone number, and here I'm going to select the course. So let's say the course in which the person wants to enroll is Python for beginners. All right, now I'm going to click on submit. As soon as we have submitted the form, now I'm going to take you back towards Pabbly Connect, and here you can see that instantly the response is captured. So in the response, we have received all the details. So let's start reading them one by one. First of all, we have the exact phone number which I've entered while submitting the form. Then we have the exact email address. We have their name, first and the last name, Amazing Student, and the course for which the student has opted. So here you can see that the connection between contact form 7 and Pabbly Connect is absolutely successful. And now every time a new form will be submitted by the student in contact form 7, the response is automatically going to capture with the details. Alright, so once we have set up this connection, now our objective is to create invoice in Wave for this student. So for that, I'm going to build the connection between Wave and Pabbly Connect. But before creating the invoice, you have to keep in mind that you cannot create the invoice in Wave of a new customer. The customer for which you want to create the invoice should be an existing customer of Wave. For that, you have to check whether the person who has submitted the form in contact form 7 is an existing customer of Wave or not. If that person will be existing, then automatically the invoice will be created. But if that person will not be existing, then we are going to create that person as a customer first of all in Wave, and then we are going to create the invoice for that. So we are going to do both the process automatically. Okay, so first of all, let's search whether the contact exists in Wave or not. So for that, we have to build the connection between Wave and Pabbly Connect. Let's select our action application as Wave, and let us select our action event as get customer by email. So here I'm going to search the customer with the help of email. Let's select get customer by email. Let's click on connect. For building the connection between Wave and Pabbly Connect, you can see we have two options: add new connection and select existing connection. In case if you already have an existing connection, you can just go with that, but I'm going to show you to build a new connection. For that, here I have clicked on this add new connection. I'm going to click on connect with Wave. And now Pabbly Connect is asking us for the permission to access our Wave account, and because our data is 100% safe with Pabbly Connect, so I'm going to click on allow access with Pabbly Connect, and our authorization has become successful. So now we just have to enter the details in these fields to get the customer details via email. Now, so here we have to first of all select business, which is already selected, and then we have to provide the name of the customer whom we want to search in Wave. So here I am going to search the email which I have received in my earlier response, whether that email exists in my Wave account as customer or not. So for that, instead of entering the data manually, instead of entering the mail manually, I'm going to simply map the email which I have received in my earlier response. So directly I'm going to insert this email address, and it is mapped. As I have mapped this email, it has become dynamic. That means with each and every new response, automatically it is going to replace. So now every time a new form will be submitted in contact form 7, the response is going to be captured, then automatically the email over here is going to replace with a new email which will be received in that new response. And in this way, we are going to automate the entire process without doing anything manually. Okay, so now let's check whether the email exists in Wave or not by clicking on Save and Send Test Request button. And as we have done that, here we have received the response. It is saying that yes, the student exists. And also we have received this customer ID, which is going to be required for creating the invoice for this customer in Wave afterwards. Okay, so the customer exists. Now let's move forward. And now here, after this step, we have to apply two different routes in the workflow. For the students who are already an existing customer of Wave, directly the invoices will be created in the first route. And the second route will work for the non-existing customers of Wave. For the new students who are submitting their response, they are not existing customers of my Wave account. So first of all, we are going to create them as customers in Wave, and then we are going to create invoice for them. So here we have two different conditions, two different routes. For that, what we have to do, we have to apply router in our workflow. To apply router, let's click on this add action step button, and let us select our action application as router. Router is an amazing feature of Pabbly which helps us to give two different routes in our workflows, two or more different routes in our workflows for running the workflow conditionally in different segments by following different conditions. All right. So let us select our action event as conditionally run. Let's click on connect. Here we have two default routes. If you want, you can add more, but because we want two over here, so we'll select two. So we'll go with two only. So first of all, I'm going to rename the route. So the first route will be for the existing customer. So I'm going to click on the three dots. I'm going to rename the first route as existing customers. Okay. And now I'm going to go towards set filter and action step. You have to keep in mind that you cannot add any further step, any further action step after router. Router is the very last step of every workflow. If you want to perform any of the actions, if you want to use any steps, you will have to use it in the routes itself now afterwards. After this, you cannot add further steps after the router. Okay. Now I'm going to go towards first route. I will click on set filter and action step. And over here, we have to first of all apply the filter condition, that on the fulfillment of which filter conditions you want to run the workflow through this first route. So this route is for existing customers, and I want that if the customer exists in Wave, then my workflow should continue with this route. So first of all, I'm going to use the ID which I have received as the customer ID through my Wave response, and I'm going to map it over here like this. As I've mapped this ID, it has become dynamic, as you know, so it is automatically going to replace with every new response. Then here I'm going to select the filter type as exist. So I want basically that if the customer ID which I have received in my earlier response exists, this means that the customer is existing in Wave. Otherwise, if the ID will not exist, that means the customer is not existing. I have selected the customer ID and I have selected filter type. So let's click on this save and send test request button to check whether the filter condition is true or not, and the condition is true. But in case if the response will be captured and there will be no customer ID, that means the workflow will stop over here because the condition will not fulfill. Now, as the condition is true, our objective is to directly create the invoice. Okay, so let's click on this add action step button quickly. And we have to select Wave as our action application as we want to create the invoice for the customer. Now we have to select the action event. So what you want, I want to create an invoice with basic details. I've selected that, and now let's click on connect. After, we'll go with existing connection only as the connection is already built. And now we have to enter the details in these fields. First of all, the business is already selected. We have to map the customer ID over here. So let us quickly map that. We'll turn the mapping button on. Let's delete the existing data from here in this field. And let's map the customer ID which we have already received in our earlier response. Okay, for this customer ID, we want to create the invoice. Now we have to select the product. As we want to automate the process, we cannot select the product directly from the drop down because then it will become static and it is not going to replace with every new response. As when the form is going to be submitted, a student can select any of the 4 courses which they want to purchase in which they want to get the enrollment. So we cannot select the product like this from the drop down. We have to keep it dynamic so that according to the response which the student has submitted, the product will be changed. In that case, we are going to use product ID over here. To get the product ID, what you have to do, you have to just select any of the course. I have 4 courses over here. You can see digital marketing and SEO, Python for beginners, UI, UX, and effective communication. So I'm going to get the product IDs for 4 of these courses one by one. First of all, I will select effective communication. I'm going to turn this mapping button on and I got the product ID for this. I'm going to copy and save it somewhere. In the similar manner, now once again, I'm going to get product IDs for each of the 4 courses. The next is UI UX. I'm going to turn this mapping button on and here I will copy and paste it somewhere safely. Okay, in this way I will get 4 IDs. And then here, in order to make it dynamic, I have to remove the existing ID from here and I have to make it dynamic. So I have to get it from the previous response so that I can map it. To get the IDs for each of the products in previous response, I am going to use lookup over here. So for now, I'm going to cross this step. I'm going to go back. I'm going to click on this add action step button. And here I'm going to apply lookup table. Lookup table is going to identify the course and the IDs for each of the courses which we are going to get in the response, and then by using that response we are going to map the ID so that we can make the data dynamic and we can automate the process. So now here we will select the action event as lookup table and we'll click on connect as it is already an inbuilt feature of Pabbly Connect. So the connection is built already. Now it is asking us for the lookup key, that what value you want to search. I want to search for the product ID of this particular course which I have received in my earlier response. So here the lookup key which I want to search for is Python for beginners, the course which the student has opted for. And because I have mapped it, automatically it is going to replace with every new response which is going to be captured. Now we have to select the label. Okay, so here what we are going to do in the label, we are going to give the name for each of the courses, and in the value field we are going to enter the IDs for each of the product, each of the course. So here I have 4 courses as you can see: digital marketing, Python for beginners, UI, UX, and effective communication. So here I'm going to click on this plus sign. I'm going to add 4 key and label fields. And now, first of all, let's start with the Python for beginners. I'm going to enter the data over here manually. So here we'll go towards Wave. We'll go towards the product and services. So these are the products and services I have. This is the course, digital marketing and SEO. Here we have for effective communication. Then we have for Python for beginners. And here then we have the last one is UI UX. So here we have UI UX as well. Okay, one by one, let's copy and paste. First of all, I will copy the name of the first course that is digital marketing and SEO. Then I'm going to copy second course name, that is Python for beginners. The third is UI UX with Figma. And the fourth course is effective communication. So these are the 4 courses I'm selling for which I want to create the invoice every time. I want to search for the product ID of the course which we are going to receive in the response. So in the value field, we're simply going to enter the product IDs of 4 courses. in front of their names. And I've already shown you that how you have to get these product IDs. I have already copied and saved it in Notepad. So I'm going to quickly open the Notepad. First course is digital marketing. So I'm going to copy the product ID of this course. In a similar manner, you can also copy and paste the product IDs like this in a safe place where you can view it later and enter it while applying the lookup. Then the next is for UI UX. So I'm going to copy it, and in the field of UI UX I'm going to paste it. Okay, so in the similar manner I have copied each of the product ID from the Notepad and I have entered it over here, and we have set up a lookup table. So now let's click on save and send test request button. It is going to fetch out the lookup key and will find out the details which we have for the lookup key. So here we have the lookup key as Python for beginners. We have received the value for that, that is the product ID. Now we are going to move forward and we are going to quickly map it. And here, in order to show you each and every step, I'll have to once again set up this router step, because as I have not completed the full router step, what happened, I have crossed this when it was incomplete, and I have applied the lookup step in order to show you how you have to build this connection, how you have to apply lookup. That's why I have to do it once again. So I'm going to quickly add all the steps which we have done earlier. After doing this, now the next term is I have done that, and now we will move forward towards product ID. So let's turn this mapping button on. I'm going to delete the existing ID from here, and we have already received the product ID from lookup. So quickly I'm going to map that product ID over here. Then the next it is asking us the item description and item price. We will get both these details as well from lookup only. I'm going to apply lookup and I'm going to get the description for each of the course, and also I'm going to apply lookup for the price as well. So we'll do both the things. Once again we have to cross it. Let's go back. Let's click on this add action step button. We have to apply lookup over here once again for the description of the product. So here let's select lookup table. Let's click on connect. Lookup key will be again the course name which we have received from our earlier response. So on the basis of this course name, we are going to get the description. Okay, so here we have 4 courses. Once again, I'm going to click on plus sign to add the fields. So I'm going to once again quickly copy and paste the details, the course name. Okay, here we have the course name and here we have the description for this course. I'm going to copy and paste it in front of the course name. Then we have the second course as effective communication. Let's copy and paste it over here. We'll copy the description as well. Enter it. Then the next we have Python for beginners. Let's copy it. Let's paste it over here. Then we have the description for it. Okay. All right. Then when we'll scroll down here, we have 4th course, that is UI UX. I will copy the name and then I'm going to quickly enter the description. Now, according to the lookup key, it is going to provide us the description. So let's click on save and send test request button. Here we have the description for Python for beginners. As we have received the description, now we are going to do the same for the price as well. So let us select our action application once again as lookup. We'll select the action event as. Now, if you do not want to do the same steps once again, what you can do, I'm going to show you a hack also. We'll delete the existing lookup. What I have done here, as you know, we have the same course name. We just want to change the value we want in the place of description. This time we are going to apply the lookup for the price. So what we will do, we'll click on the 3 dots. We'll click on clone step. Okay. As we have cloned the step, let's go towards it. Everything else will be same, but just in the place of value, I'm going to enter the price for each of the product, for each of the course. So here we have the course price as this. Then the second one, third one, Python, and the 4th one is for UI UX. And here I am going to remove the extra commas and decimal as well from the price to make it simple. All right. Now I'm going to click on save and send test request button. As we have done that, you can see that here we have received the response once again. Now once again, we'll go towards the router step. And here, because I have crossed the step incompletely, I have to set it up once again. I'm going to do it quickly. All right. Here, in order to explain the things clearly to you and to show you each and every step carefully, I'm crossing the steps without completing them. But what you can do, because you know what you have to do, you can just, after watching the video, when you're going to create the automation, you can just fetch out the product IDs earlier and you can just save them directly on notepads. You can also get the details such as the description and the price. And then after that, you do not have to again and again follow the same steps. What you can do, you can just priorly apply the lookup table for all the 3 details which you want, such as the product ID, price, as well as the description. You can just complete these steps and then you can come towards router finally. Okay. Now let's move forward. Here we'll simply map the description of the item which we have already received. So here we have the description and also we have received the price. Okay, then here the quantity will be 1 because it is course. We cannot sell multiple quantities. The currency will be INR. Here I have entered it. Then we have the invoice title. What is the title of your invoice? I am creating this invoice for the student. I am going to enter the title as invoice for. I am going to map the name of the student which I have received over here. And then I'm going to use a colon and I'm going to use the course which they have purchased. Okay, invoice for the student and the course is already given over here. The invoice status should be saved. Then here we have, you can see invoice subheading, invoice footer, etc. If you want, you can map these details. I'm going to ignore these fields and directly I'm going to click on save and send test request button. Now, as I've clicked on this button, it is saying that the customer ID is required. As you know, we have already mapped the customer IDs. I've mapped them in front of you, but it is still showing invalid. There is a technical glitch, that means. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to refresh the fields. Once again, I will map them. Okay. Customer ID first of all, and then the product ID. Then I'm going to click on save and send test request button once again. And here it is saying that the invoice is created. So now I'm going to take you towards my Wave account. I'm going to go towards the invoice section quickly. And here you can see that recently an invoice is created. When I'm going to open it, here we have the invoice. You can see that the invoice is for Python for beginners. This is the course. We have the price in the correct format along with the rupee sign. And also we have the comma which we have removed as well as the decimal. And we have the description for the same course as well. The invoice is created for amazing student with the same details which we have. And this means that the connection is built between contact form 7 and Wave. Up till now the steps are clear and successful. Now we are going to move forward towards the next route. And on which condition it is going to be followed when the customer will be a non-existing customer of Wave. In that case, we have to first of all add that person as a customer. So let's click on this add route button. And the second route will be for new customers. Okay. So I'm going to go towards set filter and action step. Here we have, now we do not have to do much because everything is settled. We have already fetched out the product IDs from the lookup as well as the price as the description. So we'll simply map the customer ID once again. And this time the filter type will be does not exist. If the customer ID which I have received in the response which is not existing, then I want to run my workflow through this step. So I'm going to click on save and send test request button. Condition is currently false because I'm using an existing response, and in the existing response I have received a customer who is already existing in Wave. But when the workflow is going to run in real time, it will be true every time when the customer will not be an existing one. Okay, so as we have done that, let's click on this add action step button. If the customer is not existing, then we want to add this customer in Wave first of all. For that, let's select Wave as our action application. We will select the action event, that is create a customer. Let's click on connect and we'll go with the existing connection only. Now it is asking us the customer name. So the name of the customer is received. Here we have the first name with a space. I'm going to map the last name. If you want, you can also map the first name and last name separately as like this. Then we have email, mobile number, okay, and other details. If you want, I'm going to ignore these fields and I will directly click on save and send test request button. As we have done that, here it has given the response and now we are going to create the invoice. So once again, let's select Wave as our action application. We will select create invoice with basic details. Let's go with the existing connection only. And here we have to map the customer ID. Once again, we will do it. Here we have the customer ID which we have received through create customer step. We have to map that over here. Okay. Then we have the product. So let's map the product ID quickly that we have already received in our earlier response through lookup. Then the description of the item and the price. Okay. Quantity will be 1 only. We will enter the currency. Title will be invoice status will be saved and directly I'm going to click on save and send test request button. Again, there is a glitch. So I'm going to refresh the fields. It might also happen in your case when you are creating the workflow. So do not panic. Just click on refresh fields and once again map the IDs. Okay. So here I'm going to map the customer ID. Keep in mind that in the second route, you have to map the customer ID which you are going to receive in the create customer response and not the earlier ID which you are receiving through the earlier step. Okay. Let's map the product ID as well. And once again, we'll click on save and send test request button. The response is captured. So now I'm going to take you towards my Wave account. We'll go towards the invoice section. Let's go towards all invoices, and once again the invoice is created, as you can see. Okay, this means that our connection between contact form 7 and Wave is absolutely successful. The first lookup which we have applied is for getting the product ID. So I'm going to rename it quickly. We have used it for product ID. Okay, so I'm going to rename it as product ID so that we can identify which lookup is for what. Then I'm going to rename the second one, that is for the description, product description, and the product price. All right. In this way, you can change the name of your action steps as well, like this. Okay, so here we have completed our automation, and after completing our workflow, let us check whether it is running fine or not. So for this, I'm going to once again take you towards my form in contact form 7, and this time I'm going to use some dummy details that will be new in order to submit the form. Let's say the name of the student who is submitting this form is latest student. Let's say the email is lateststudent999@pabblytudes.com. Let's say the phone number is, and let's say the course for which the product, and let's say the course which the student want is UI UX design with Figma. As soon as I have submitted this form, I will quickly take you towards my Wave account. We will go towards the invoice section, and we will see, and here we can see that without any manual efforts, we have just submitted the form as a student and the invoice is created automatically over here. When I'm going to open this invoice, here you can see that the heading is changed, invoice for latest student for the course UI UX design with Figma. Here we have the name of the student, we have their phone number, their exact email address. We have the name of the course over here for which the invoice is created, UI UX design. We have the description and the amount. Automatically everything is created over here. So this means our connection is absolutely successful and also our workflow is running fine. So for creating invoices automatically for the product which are being chosen by contact form 7, you can also very easily create this amazing automation. You just have to use your 20 minutes. You just have to spend 20 minutes of your day to set up this connection, to set up this automation, and your work will be done. Then further, you do not have to do anything manually. Everything will be automated. I hope the automation is clear to you. Also, it is helpful for your business to manage your finances effectively. Thank you for watching.
Not only these applications, but you can integrate multiple such amazing applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. Now, if you have any doubt, you can email us at support@pabbly.com. If you want to ask any doubt, you can write us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you want to ask about the pricing, you can visit this website given over here. Do not forget to share our videos, like our video, and also subscribe our channel for more such amazing automations.